Introduction. The knowledge you gain today becomes obsolete tomorrow in a fast-paced world. To benefit from the changes and keep up with them is to keep learning. Businesses are particularly threatened by the digital era. Ensuring that the products or services they produce meet the needs of their customer base is an uphill task. The 1990s customer is different today. Customer will learn about a new development in the market and walk into a store the next day to ask what he or she saw. But the customer will never return if the business does not have what the customer needs. Organizational learning has become an intricate fiber in the organization's fabric. It ensures that the business is responsive to market changes so that it can retain its customers, attract some more, and increase its profitability. It is one thing to learn and another thing to retain it. Any people with many certifications can't say anything when asked to explain different concepts. This book helps organizations understand organizational learning and how to do it, but also teaches them how to ensure that the learning is effective so that the knowledge acquired is retained and used to the benefit of the company. Chapter 1 is Organizational Learning and Performance for Knowledge Acquisition. Learning is the permanent, measurable behavior change brought about by study, experience, and instruction. The knowledge is useful and helps reduce uncertainty for both individuals and organizations. It is possible for organizations to learn through their employees by making sure they are constantly engaged in learning activities. Creating a learning system to facilitate the acquisition and retention of knowledge through a properly thought out organizational learning system is the best method for carrying the learning through. Organizational learning is the process of learning, creating, retaining and sharing knowledge in an organization to iron out all issues so that things run as smoothly as they are intended to. The knowledge created from this process is broad and could cover any issue or topic in the organization, from how to increase the efficiency of production to know how to relate with each other better in the workplace. Organizational learning is measurable. The learning curve is used to determine the extent of learning. Learning curve is the extent to which the production of the services or products is increasing in terms of reliability, productivity, efficiency, and in terms of quality, with diminishing returns. An organization's learning curve is dependent on the organization's learning rate, which in turn varies with the individuals in the organization and the improvements that have been made to the company's technology, structures, resource availability, routines, and coordination levels. Learning organization is one that encourages learning among its employees. Control and command structure that is formal or obvious is not often found in an organization. Organizational learning is seen as a means of delivering the mission of the organization. The employees are treated with dignity, not just as a collection of hires, as the workforce is valued too. Although the organization constantly upgrades its technology systems, there is an entrenched belief that technology only works as an aid and that it cannot solve the issues that may come up in the future. It is up to the employees to figure out the solutions. As such, all members of the workforce are under constant reflection in a process of continuously reviewing and improving their work so that their tasks become avenues for continuous learning. Organizational learning could be defined as the understanding a customer's wants. This understanding runs through all the functional departments in an organization. All departments have been created with the needs of the customer in mind. Learning takes place when an organization is able to integrate the wants of its clients with its own special capabilities, strengths, and expertise. If you see that the people are continually expanding their capacities to bring out the desired results, you can identify a learning organization. There is a collective aspiration to learn so that the vision of the company can come together. There are 5 primary principles for a learning organization. They include mastery of concepts, the development of mental models, learning as a team, and the collection of all ideas expressed into a shared vision. The principles are built on the understanding that people come together. They learn to accommodate each other and put away their individual ways of thinking. Understand how the company works. Come up with a dream that everyone can agree on. Together, we can see the dream come to be. Organizational learning involves the exchange of 2 kinds of knowledge, tacit and explicit. Tacit knowledge is the kind that individual employees carry, while explicit knowledge is the kind that is transformed into a form that others in the organization can use. Tacit and explicit knowledge complement each other. In organizational learning, there are 4 stages: socialization, externalization, combination, and internalization. The transfer of tactic knowledge can be accomplished through observation, imitation, and practice. Externalization is the process of transferring tactic knowledge into principles or procedures that are triggered by collective reflection and dialogue. Adding, categorizing, sorting and combining the knowledge drawn from across the organization is what combination does. In the last stage of internalization, the explicit knowledge is translated into tacit knowledge, and this knowledge becomes part of the culture of the organization. The organizational learning process benefits both the individual and the organization. Individuals get to learn from their own experiences, which improves their knowledge and skills. The organization benefits from having knowledgeable employees who are focused on the organization's vision and mission. With the competency of the employees, the organization is able to outdo the competition and become more flexible so that it can cope with change better. The ability to learn is a core competence and a source of competitive advantage for an organization. The key competitive advantage for any organization can only come from its employees because all other factors, such as technology, branding, and other features can be replicated. If the employees are able to continually come up with improvements for the company's processes and products, the company will be able to reap benefits from the changes early enough. Organizational learning leads to improved organizational performance, which makes it relevant and paramount to every organization, enhancing the organizational learning experience. An organization can improve the learning experience. 1. Continuously improving content is what you should be committed to. Organizations often begin the learning process with a lot of gusto and zeal, introducing new content with enhanced communication and monitoring to initiate the process of knowledge transfer. After a few months, the organization might still be teaching the same content on its training interventions. One of 2 things will happen. The employees will lose interest because they have been learning the same thing for a long time, or the supervision and follow-up will have stopped. To prevent this, the management should ensure that new content is being generated all the time to maintain interest, and that there is an adequate follow-up to ensure that the employees are taking in the knowledge offered, are internalizing it and taking it up in their activities. Personalize the content. He wouldn't be concerned if employees weren't showing interest in the content that doesn't apply to them. One-size-fits-all approach towards knowledge transfer will not work. Each learner has their own learning style and learning needs. The human resource professional needs of a nurse are different from those of an IT professional. The content here will be very different. The content you teach your people must be in line with the role, learning style, performance expectations, and other factors that will personalize the experience. Personalized learning will make the learners feel appreciated. The content should be limited. Learning should be bite-sized. People don't have the time to complete long training modules because they're busy with other things. The attention spans are not as long. The learning should only take a minimal amount of time. They should be short and interactive. The content has to be meaningful. 4. Social learning is required. The right kind of learning that involves social interaction is the kind that effective learning is. It is said that it is in helping others in your class understand difficult concepts that the knowledge sticks. And that is also the case for organizational learning. All our knowledge is gained through social interactions because of the knowledge and experience that people have. Thankfully, many companies and learning institutions have embraced social learning, even on online platforms. Since social learning is fun and interactive, organizations must strive to adopt or establish effective social learning platforms. 5. The effectiveness of the learning program is monitored. Organizational learning must be checked for effectiveness since processes must be appraised. The training needs to be assessed by the management and the employees. They must assess whether the learning outcomes translate into improved performance metrics because the primary agenda behind the training is to improve business performance. There must be metrics that can accurately reflect any changes. Every organization needs organizational learning to meet its business objectives. As the business landscape and market trends change, the learning and business objectives will change as well. Chapter 2 teaches how to build meaningful relationships. People who have work best friends are 7 times more involved in their jobs. The researchers found that having a friend will cause an individual to be more satisfied with his or her job. Strong positive relationships at the workplace are important. You will never be happy with the work you do if you don't learn how to play well with other people. Any people have damaged their careers because of their actions or how they behaved in reference to others in the organization. Interpersonal relationships at the workplace are the cornerstones of job success and satisfaction. In this chapter, we learn how to build strong, meaningful relationships at work so you can get along with people. What makes a relationship good? The best way to describe a relationship is by the characteristics associated with it. They include mutual respect. Everyone wants to be treated with respect because it shows that the other party holds meaning to your ideas and input just as much as you do. People who respect each other can come up with solutions to problems based on their collective insight, creativity, and wisdom. Trust. Trust comes from consistency in life. Trust is earned and not given. The bedrock of every functional relationship is this important quality. When trust is established between workmates, they are able to form a powerful bond that allows them to communicate and work with one another effectively. If you trust the people who are working with you, are you sure that your words won't be thrown out of context and be used against you? You can pay for honesty in your actions. You don't have to worry about weighing your words if you hurt the individual. There is open communication. It would be beneficial to take note of this point alone, even though we have implied the need for communication in the previous point. We communicate in the workplace via email, one-on-one, and other methods. The better you communicate with those around you, the better your relationships with them will be. Open communication is upheld by any good relationship. Mindfulness. Being aware means that you take full responsibility for your actions and words and be careful about what you say. A person who is aware doesn't allow negative emotions to be translated to those around him. 5. Open-mindedness. Human beings come with their own individuality, so the establishing of any relationship requires open-mindedness. You don't have the option of choosing those that will work with you in the workplace. You may be surrounded by a group of people. When this happens, it's best that you open up your mind and accept the diversity, regardless of opinion or any other variable. When people around you have differing opinions, it's a good idea to take time to reflect on what was said, how to make sure the relationships you build are good. If you want to see if the relationships you're building are meaningful, you can use the characteristics below. You will be well on your way to building some meaningful relationships if you check the items below. Have a positive mindset. Stay positive in all situations. Positive vibes attract people to you, and it is contagious. No one wants to be around a grumpy face all the time. It sucks the life out of you. Positive people will come to you. Become an active listener. Listen to what your colleagues and customers have to say. People are more willing to listen to people who want to hear what they have to say. If you listen more, you will see that people like your company and find you trustworthy. 3. Enhance your people skills. Good relationships require good people skills. It's important how you communicate, collaborate, and respond to others. You have to deal with negative attitudes and conflict situations. 4. Appreciate other people. Everyone wants to be appreciated for the good they do. So whenever anyone is kind to you, appreciate them. You should appreciate people from all levels. This will be a starting point for perfect relationships if you compliment them. 5. Keep off of all the gossip. It is always comforting to know the secrets that other people don't. It has a sense of privilege. It is fun to whisper and laugh, but it kills trust with those you are gossiping with. Office politics kill team spirit. If you are at odds with someone from your workplace, speak to the individual directly and try to find a solution. Gossiping creates warring groups while there should only be one team. 6. Maintaining healthy boundaries is important. You should set proper boundaries and be careful to maintain them. Although you want to have friends at work, there may be situations when the friendship is too close to overlap work. If this happens, it is important that you re-examine your boundaries and that you strictly enforce the time limits for your work and socializing. 7. You can develop your emotional intelligence. It's important to take time to build your emotional intelligence. Emotional intelligence is the ability to understand what your emotions are saying to you. You will be able to read the emotions other people have when you do this. The benefits of meaningful relationships. Work will become more enjoyable, and you gain more influence when you voice your opinions because people are more likely to go with the ideas you have come up with. You become more creative and innovative because your circle becomes your source of feedback on whether what you come up with is viable or not. The innate desire to relate with others at the workplace is fulfilled by relationships. We are naturally social. We crave interaction and friendship with others everywhere we go, be it in church, jail, school, or at the place of work. The more creative and innovative we become, the more we succeed in establishing any of these relationships. Good relationships are important for good careers. If you want to make any progress, you need to rely on your effort and motivation, but you also need some encouragement, correction, or advice from your friends. Friend will tell you about an opportunity that you could not have known about. If you haven't made friends with your boss and he or she doesn't trust you, you are likely to be passed up on an opportunity. If you are friends with your teacher at school, he or she will be more interested in monitoring your progress than other students. Working relationships give freedom. You don't have to waste time trying to work your way around a problem when you enjoy a good relationship with your co-workers. Time is not spent resolving disputes between you and your co-workers. You free up time and are able to enjoy yourselves doing something else. You want to grow each other and make the place better. Good relationships are good for business. You can gain favor with the clients, suppliers, and the larger community by fostering a friendly environment for the purchases they make, the supplies they provide, the investments they make into the business, and the good name or reputation they help to foster are all important to a business. There are tips to help you build better relationships. One, speak about other people positively, especially when you speak to the superiors. You should speak positively about the people you work with when information is shared. It tends to get to the subject of the discussion, both the positive and the negative. You don't want your colleagues to hear that you are mean to them. They will know that you care for them when they hear positive things. They want to know you at a deeper level and trust you. You will have made new friends. Sure you don't engage in workplace gossip. They are incredibly destructive in the workplace. Two, you should give people the chance to know you personally. Sharing information about yourself is the best way to get people to know you. Sharing your knowledge, expertise, and personal experiences in meetings will get them to know you. When you do this, the people will get to know you better, like you, and want to hear more about what you have to offer. They will begin to think that you are personable, and this will lead to good relationships. If you tend to go blank in meetings out of fear, think about what you want the people to know about you so that you are prepared. Some people take the idea of sharing their information too far by going beyond the limits of a working relationship in an effort to get people to like them and miss the point. Some people get fired for sharing embarrassing information that makes people dislike them. Everyone has an embarrassing past, some worse than others, and we don't have to know every detail about it. If you were fired for stealing, keep details hidden. If you don't uphold the reform due, you will lose another job. Share information that relates to your work or subject that the other person enjoys reading or talking about. This will let the other person know that you are thinking of him or her and that you understand boundaries, that you are reliable, and that you are fun to be around. Three, use questions to start the conversation. When you meet someone for the first time, the surrounding air can be quite awkward. It's hard to know what to say and how to say it. Questions can be a great way to start a conversation. You give the other party an opportunity to speak when you raise a question. You can learn a lot from the conversation about the individual and his or her stand on different things. Sharing with the individual will make them feel closer to you because you have shown interest in them and want to listen to what they have to say. In your listening, make sure that you give some information about yourself and the opinions you have so that you don't appear suspicious. If the relationship is two-way, you will create a bond. Four, you can participate in other activities besides work. In conversations with your workmates, you might establish some common areas of interests and activities you like to engage in, the kind that does not involve work. Establishing trust and building personal relationships with your colleagues will be made easier by taking part in activities like those. You can either buy lunch for each other during the working days or after work on the weekends. If you are dating or married, you can organize a couple's dinner to strengthen your friendship. 5. Introduce yourself to people at social work-related events. Most workplace social events are retreats, dinners or lunches, holiday parties, conferences, and fun days for their workers. And this would be a great point to start interacting. This would be the place that they would have their guards down, ready to interact and mingle with others if you reached out and introduced yourself to them. It's easy when people approach you wanting to strike a conversation or even a friendship. 6. Make the interactions and communications more frequent. After meeting someone for the first time, the best way to build and maintain a friendship is to keep up the communication and interaction. Communication allows you to know and understand the other party, both professionally and individually. It will be more comfortable for you to work alongside the new connection you have made. 7. You should ask your workmates to get involved in projects you are running. Asking for help from others and asking them to be part of your project is okay. The more people you get to interact with, the better your friendship will be. You will enjoy your work and get things done faster if you work with others. 8. Support other people in their work and their projects. Working with others develops in you a team attitude so that you are not only concerned with your performance alone, but also that of other people. Helping others achieve their goals and targets makes the connection stronger because it builds teamwork and trust. The people you work with would appreciate your support and be interested in knowing you better, which is good for your relationship with them. Be thankful. When kindness is extended to you, say thank you. Above the call of duty, appreciate those doing exemplary work and making positive contributions to the organization and the individual lives. You could also send a voicemail and handwritten thank you notes. They are your superiors, your colleagues, and even those in lower levels of work. People will want to be even closer to you as you do this. 10. Be careful with your social media usage. People are taking another step besides being friends on social media. It is easy to get carried away by the idea of connecting with your peers on all the digital platforms. It doesn't help that the platforms suggest new friends based on our saved contact lists. It's not bad to extend your friendship to social media, but you need to be careful. It takes only one wrong move and your reputation will be ruined on social media, in your social circles, and even at work. People who do not know you will assume that any false information given about you is true. So this could ruin every area of your life. It is important that you stick to the social media policies of your organization. Before befriending your colleagues on social media, you need to find out if there are any rules. You work easier by obeying the rules. 11. All people are treated as equal. It's not your job description to say who is better or worse off. You might not like what others say about you if you start placing others on the scale and judging them. Don't gossip and spread rumors at all costs. And be humble if someone is unfair to you. You don't want to engage in a conversation with someone you don't like, and you don't want to engage in a conversation with someone you don't like. Do all you can to keep yourself out of that situation. It's a good idea to avoid situations that could come back to bite you later. As you deal with people, remember that they are constantly changing. Have you ever had a conversation with someone and they turn against you and spread rumors that you said something while the individual did all the talking. Person who appears trustworthy today may not be worthy of your trust tomorrow. If you want to avoid false accusations about you, avoid talking to someone about another person and keep your personal views to yourself. If you haven't given any information that you fear someone will slip and let out, you will remain positive. 12. You can learn to rely on yourself. You aren't likely to receive the attention you get at home or at work. No one at your workplace makes their agenda to listen to your rants, to answer all the questions you may have all day, or to leave their workstations to come to help you with a task or two. Assume you don't have time for things like that. There will be situations where you need the help or the advice of others, but your primary focus should be on doing things yourself. If an instruction manual is available, use it if you have a problem with something. Do things for yourself so that you don't annoy other people. Basic knowledge about the problem or situation you are trying to resolve if you still need help. 13. Take up your responsibilities. You would need to seek assistance from other people if your workload is overwhelming. When you are given a particular task, be careful not to pass it on to another person. If you pass on your work to others, you will create a barrier between you and the people. They may stop communicating with you. If you want to build a good relationship with the people, you need to play your part. 14. You must admit your mistakes. It's a fact that mistakes are common to all. And you shouldn't be embarrassed about the mistakes you make because other people are likely to have made the same mistake. You will tarnish other people's names and your own if you start blaming others. Don't get into negative situations with other people by admitting your mistakes and coming up with ways to make up. You want to be around a person who is humble enough to apologize when he or she is wrong. Chapter 3 teaches how to move past disagreements. The environments where people think alike, understand each other, and agree at all times do not exist. When people meet, there will inevitably be a disagreement. Most of the time, it is the emotions that get in the way of a constructive conversation. This hostile environment is detrimental to the team building and to working together for the common good. Strategies to help deal with disagreements that are productive. There are some effective strategies that individuals in an organization should pick up to help deal with disagreements in a productive and positive way. Curb the anger. This is a correct point. If you want to end a conflict, the first thing you need to do is get rid of the anger. It doesn't mean that you won't be angry in a conflict situation, but it does mean that you shouldn't let anger get the better of you. The anger could keep you from analyzing the events that are happening objectively. If you want to prevent your anger from blowing up and worsening the situation, just shut up. It's as simple as the 3 words. If you feel angry, it is best to keep your mouth quiet and not speak at all. Try to slow down the conversation by telling the other party that you would like to take some time off to think about your position. When you step away, try to use a more objective lens. You will have weighed out the pros and cons and will be better at placing your argument. When you do this, if you are calm and the other party is angry, you should create an environment for them to get their anger out. Ensure that you are paying attention to every word spoken by giving them the chance to vent. But the reason for listening is to gain a better understanding of what is going on in the other person, not to capture points with which to use to attack the person later. The other party vent has 2 benefits. Being in a position to determine the ideal solution to the problem is the first. The second benefit is that it helps the other party lower their guard. You may be surprised that you don't need to resolve arguments. Some people just want to be heard. We will explore listening as an independent strategy. Two, it is necessary to understand other people. The lack of understanding is the main cause of conflict. One party is trying to be heard, and the other party is not giving the same courtesy to listen to others. You have to realize that you are more alike than different. People working on the same level are more likely to do this. You should try to accommodate and tolerate other people. Look at their different points of view and see if you can learn from it. Appreciating and understanding doesn't mean that you have to agree to that point of view. You just try to see where the other party is coming from. Hopefully, when you do that, you won't be so angry anymore. The conscious realization that you are dealing with an intellectual peer will cause you to take a step back and appreciate the opinion the other party holds. The reality is that the other party holds the same belief that we do. You have been hired because each of you brings a unique set of knowledge and experiences to the organization, so realize that you work in the same organization. This realization will make both parties approach the conversation from a place of curiosity rather than with the intention of pulling down the other party and his or her opinion. Take note of the reasoning behind certain opinions and points of view, and you can learn something that you didn't know before. 3. Focus on the factors that bring you together rather than what pulls you apart. Understanding the nature of the common ground is the best way to move past disagreements. List the ways you agree. What are the points of view? Seeing similarities between the parties helps to bridge the gaps between them while focusing on the differences first. If you find yourself in a disagreement, start looking for the common factors, even if you have to stretch. 4. Look beyond the things that cause you to be angry. In the heat of the discussion, someone might speak a word or do something that could set you off, which will drive you from reason to give an emotional response. The conversation ceases to make sense when you do this. The points that arouse fear are the ones that bring to mind your limitations. It is unlikely that you will go through life without people touching on your trigger points. And the sad reality is that you might lead a sad life if you are roused to anger every time. To overcome the triggers, the way to go about this situation is to work, or whatever happened in your past, find a way to move on. Through the pain of negative experiences, stop interpreting everything that nature said to you. 5. Be responsible for how you feel. When the situation gets very heated, people become defensive and start making accusations, making excuses and blaming others. Taking responsibility for how you feel and the interpretations you make out of it is the right approach. Be committed. When the argument gets heated, you are likely to hear warring parties declaring their freedom and independence, talking of how they do not need the other person or don't care about the opinions of the other party. This is the wrong stand to take. And you can't come to a consensus with one foot in and the other out the door. Ensure that the other party understands your commitment to the course and to the relationship you have with each other if you want to come to a consensus and make peace. If you have an issue with how the other party does a number of things, keep that to yourself and address it later on when the temperatures die down. 7. Keep your body language positive. If you disagree with the other party names, don't address them negatively. They shouldn't be reminded of past failures. Negative speech and actions that hurt the other party will cause them to shut down. Ensuring that your speech is positive all the way will make resolving the argument much easier and quicker. 8. You should admit that you could be wrong. Understand that you could be right. And the facts may be in your favor, but you have to confess that there is a slight chance that you could be wrong. Once you admit this to your opponent, they will instantly lower their guard and be more at ease discussing facts with you. They don't have to be embarrassed to confess that they could be wrong. It is not an admission of weakness, but a sober confession that you do not have the answers to everything and that you are open to learning. If you show this level of humility, people will feel better about discussing a contentious issue with you because you have indicated that your priority is resolving the issue and not proving that you are right. If the other party is proven right, you can save face. Become a good listener. People argue and disagree because they misheard what was said. It is not unusual for someone to miss a statement and then go off in anger, only to realize that they were wrong in the first place. It's important that both parties are heard. You must be a good listener, one who is open-minded, curious to learn new information, and one who doesn't hold any judgment against the other party. You must pay attention to every word that is spoken. Listen to all opinions that are aired and seek clarification if you have not fully understood them. When you will learn to embrace silence and patience. 10. Think before you strap your boots. In a conflict situation, the phrase "think before you act" should be loud. It is important that you think before you act so that you don't take drastic actions that you will regret. If the other party gives an idea or makes an assertion that you do not agree with, don't jump into arguing and fighting mode. Take time to analyze the situation and see the most logical action to take. It's your chance to show others how smart you are. And some people want others to see how humble you can be, to expose the arrogance of the other party. This is masked pride, and it doesn't help to resolve the situation. It is not productive. It would be better if you took a step back and looked at the bigger picture. Ask yourself if there is a chance that the other party is right. Do you think your reaction will deflate the situation? Do you think your reaction will ruin the relationship or drive the person away? What effect will your reaction have on how other people view you? Will your response bring benefit to both parties? What price will cause you to pay? Before you reply, ask yourself these questions to make sure that the reaction you give is compatible with the surrounding and contributes to the longevity of your relationship with the other party. 11. Get the other party to answer some questions. When you want the other party to see the merit in your argument, you need to understand where the other party is coming from. Asking questions is the way to get this information. Ask for clarity if there are any points that you don't understand. The closer you are finding a solution to the problems, the better you will understand the other person's thought processes. Ask your opponent what his or her argument is. Get to know what they are trying to do, to find out why they think they are right. Ask them why. You should see what solution would resolve the situation and how it would benefit both of you. Ensure that you don't ask questions that will bring the person down or rubbish their arguments. You must treat the person with respect and be driven by a genuine desire to understand their point of view and the reasons that led them to this conclusion. The other person will see that you are out to help, not to attack, and he or she will want to do the same to resolve the situation. 12. Be careful not to win the battle while the war is lost. There are many situations in life where you can choose between the individual and the relationship you have with them. The individual will have the upper hand in the argument. It makes no sense to enjoy a short-term win at the expense of a long beneficial relationship. When dealing with employees, suppliers, and customers. Mistakes like these will rob you of important helpers. When you are involved in a conflict, you need to consider whether the battle is worth winning or not. In some cases, the weight of the relationship is more important than the argument. This could be the only way to get what you want out of the situation. Let the other party win the argument if you want to resolve the conflict in the long run. It will save you time and allow you to achieve your goals. Chapter 4 teaches effective decision-making. Decision-making is a skill that gets better with time. You aren't expected to make perfect decisions all the time. Even the best decisions can produce negative outcomes. The goal of becoming more effective in decision-making is equipped with skills that will help you increase the odds of making decisions that produce a good outcome. Some of the decisions you make in life are routine, without much thought to them. It's easy to choose between tea and coffee in the morning. There are some situations that need more consideration because of the complexity of the situation. There are many unknown facts, different alternatives, and high-risk consequences that could cloud judgment. When you are dealing with complex situations, you need a decision-making process. The process needs to be effective and robust in a way that improves the quality of your decisions so that you consistently achieve good results. There's reason and intuition in decision-making. In the decision-making scheme, choices are made based on reason, intuition, and a combination of the two. Intuition is the feeling you get when you take certain courses of action. Intuition is acquired through a combination of personal values and experiences. The amount of knowledge you have acquired out of life is reflected in your intuition, but some of it is only based on your perception of things from childhood up to now. If you are getting a negative vibe about something, it is important that you take into account your intuition or gut feeling. If you can figure out why you are getting this feeling, you can decide if the feeling is justified. The process of weighing out facts and figures is called the reasoning. With reasoning, you make decisions based on what is before your eyes, ignoring the emotional aspects of what you are dealing with, especially the influences of the past that could affect decision-making and its implementation. The reasoning appears to be an excellent scientific method of making decisions, but intuition is a perfectly acceptable method too. All you can rely on is how you feel about the situation. And that's all. More complicated decisions need a structured approach that involves both reasoning and intuition. The decision-making process, when it comes to business and the running of organizations, the decisions you make may fail because some factors are not clear at the beginning, or because there is no surety that some of the key factors will affect the success of the process. To prevent the mistakes from happening, you need a decision-making process that clears your understanding with every step. The process involves ordered steps that will help you address all critical elements that are needed for a successful outcome and keep you from overlooking important elements. The steps are: establish a positive environment. If you can create the right environment, one that will allow you to weigh the situation and evaluate all options, the decision-making process will be simpler. Getting other people on board could be a result of the right environment. It is better to have other people help you implement your decision from the beginning. If you want to identify the people who are most vested in the issue, you need to conduct an analysis of your stakeholders. If the outcome of your decision affects many people, make sure that they are represented in the small group you have taken on board. Encourage the individuals in the small group to contribute to the discussion on their own. Expect them to give personal opinions in debates, discussions, and when analyzing different subjects, without fear that their opinions will be shut down. Ensure that they understand that the primary objective is to get to the most viable solution and not to promote personal agendas. 2. Clarify what the issue is. Individuals and groups are quick to jump into discussing the solution without fully understanding the problem, only to realize that they have been working on a different problem. Accurate judgment is needed to decipher and identify the issue at hand. Do not try to diagnose or define the problem based on the solution you have in mind. If you want to identify the root of the issue, you should not deal with the symptoms. If you don't have a thorough understanding of the situation, you will determine whether you are dealing with only one factor or a team of interrelated factors. For example, you could be dealing with a problem that is affecting only one department in the organization, or you could discover that the changes that were implemented in one department are causing chaos in other departments. In a case of interrelated problems, making changes in individual departments will be counterproductive. Once the root of the problem is determined, the negative effects on other departments will cease. Thorough understanding will help to determine the exact context of the problem by helping you determine whether the problem is real or just a symptom of something bigger. Once the issue has been identified, try to get as much information as possible from the facts you already have so that you can begin to draw conclusions from it. Carefully explore the issue from different perspectives to make sure you don't miss any important details. You have to identify and weigh the criteria. You can tell the direction you want to go after a clear analysis and an understanding of the situation. Most of us have a number of objectives surrounding the decisions we make, especially if you're making decisions that involve more than one party. You want to think about the amount of rent to be paid, the amount of space in the new house, the facilities available, distance to your workplace, and other important factors. When making the decision to shift from one house to another, a rational person will want to factor in all the different criteria when making decisions. Once you have established the criteria factors, it's time to weigh them all out. You can place value on the criteria based on the weight you want them to take in your decision-making process. Value can be attached in terms of points, dollars, or any other scoring system that will indicate the weight each factor has. 4. Come up with the best possible alternatives. Identifying various possible alternatives then to help you identify various ways in which you can approach the problem and end up with a solution. Even when it is not the best fit, the bigger the range of options you have, the more reliable your decision will be. Although the task of coming up with possible solutions may seem somewhat difficult at first, the act of doing it is what trains your brain to dig deeper and to examine the problem from different angles. You have to use a number of creative thinking techniques to step out of your normal thinking patterns so that you can come up with some viable alternatives. Brainstorming is one of the most popular creativity tools for its ability to come up with a number of ideas. Reverse brainstorming only works if you ask yourself how you can achieve an outcome that is opposite to your desired one, and then turn the solution on its head. The round-robin brainstorming, the Crawford slip writing technique, can be used to generate ideas. Ensuring that everyone's idea is heard and treated with equal weight, regardless of the influence, status, or power the individual holds in the team, is achieved through the two methods. It is a good idea to get opinions from outside the small group who might be influenced by the decisions being made. These also deserve to have their opinions heard. You can include their input using the reframing matrix method that uses the 4 Ps to gather different perspectives from its 4 Ps. The perceptual position suggests that you and the team members approach the problem from a different functional perspective. The concept fans force members to zoom out of the situation and consider the bigger picture, while the appreciative inquiry method makes the team approach the problem looking at what is going well rather than what is wrong. If you can come up with a number of alternatives, arrange them in groups based on the commonality of themes or other factors. 5. Evaluate your options and pick the best one. When you have exhausted all options and have a good collection of alternatives, it is time to evaluate each and to determine their feasibility, implications, and risks. Each of them has advantages and disadvantages and poses some level of risk. To evaluate the possibility of some adverse events coming up, you need to conduct a risk analysis because they would only increase the costs of managing the prevailing problem. Once you have identified the risks, evaluate them again and prioritize them by assessing the risk impact and assigning them figures based on their probabilities of occurring. If there is a way to work around the ones that are likely to happen, please let me know. To evaluate the risks, consider the consequences of each option you have listed. Evaluate the outcomes of taking up the alternatives you have. See if you have the resources to see through the alternatives. See if the solution that each of the alternatives provides matches your objectives. Look at the long. Every solution has a term effect. Pros and cons list for each of the alternatives would be helpful. Costs. Benefits analysis will allow you to compare the costs you will incur versus the benefits you will enjoy. You have to make a decision after you have evaluated all the alternatives. It's obvious if one of the alternatives struck you as being better than the others. There are a number of tools you can use to weigh out your options in some cases. If you use paired comparison analysis, you will be able to determine the relative importance of each of your choices, and you can choose the one that carries the most weight. Decision tree will help you weigh out the options using financial terms, so you can lay out the options clearly and see the likelihood of your project failing or succeeding. You will be able to make your decision. You could get the consensus of the group through voting, where anonymity is required, where the decision makers do not see eye to eye, or where there is a tendency of some people to dominate the conversation. Use anonymous written discussions and arguments, and the facilitator will choose the most popular decision. The method helps when the participants don't want to meet in the same space. 6. Evaluate the decision you made. The last thing you want to do is delay carrying out the decision you've made after investing so much time and effort evaluating and weighing alternatives. If you end up in a situation in which you have to repeat the entire process all over again, you need to hold your horses. This last stage is where you sense check your decisions. If there is something you could have done better, look at it in retrospect. It is similar to reading your essay to confirm that you answered the questions and did not stray from the topic. It's not unusual for you to write something completely out of topic and have to repeat it. The pain of failing an exam is heavier than the pain of repeating an essay. You need to take a long, hard look at what you have done so far so that you can be sure that you have found the perfect solution. Ensure that common errors are fixed, that the information on which you based your decision is trustworthy, and that you have taken into account all manner of data, not just the good. Discuss your conclusions with the stakeholders and see if they notice any flaws in your plans. Take into account the recommendations they make. If you have doubts, look into them thoroughly and have no doubt that you are making the right decision. 7. You can communicate your decision. The decision review process needs to be communicated to all stakeholders. This should be done in a way that makes them want to take action. Inform them about the risks and benefits of your decision. The better informed they are, the more likely they are to support you. If some flaws are pointed out, be humble to accept them and welcome the stakeholders to help review your plans. Before the full implementation is done, it is better to do this early. The rollout will be fully supported, and you and the team will have total confidence that it will work. Chapter 5 teaches how to be kind and positive when speaking with other people. New wardrobe, a slicker car, a bigger house, and a fatter check would make me happy. What would make you happier? Is it time to move to a bigger, better house? Beautiful woman by your side, wealthier man. Can't get to the end of our wish lists. The truth is that true happiness comes from deep within you, not from what is around you. The conveniences of life, like the bigger houses, make life more convenient and comfortable, but it is only a matter of time before you start looking for a bigger house. By saying that true happiness comes from within, I mean that it comes from your outlook of life, We can tell from your interpretation of the world around you that you don't have to keep grinning all day to prove to yourself and others that you have joy inside. We read the positive words you say about yourself and the positive words you say to other people. To become happier, we only need to shift our perspectives and not run to the stores for more stuff. The words that come from your mouth have power. They can make you feel inadequate, or they can make you feel confident. You can make a good first impression with your words, or you can make someone dislike you with our words. We open the doors of opportunity, and with the same word, we close them. It's said that your words become your home. Through the law of attraction, the world mirrors you who you are. Positive language is what you are likely to see in the physical. The universe will serve your dish hot if your statements echo hopelessness, fear, and failure. Your speech affects how others see and interact with you. Think about how your speech could have led them to take that stand against you if you notice that people overlook and overvalue you. Second. Guessing your opinion is not modesty, neither is making excuses. Doing any of these will undermine your authority in conversations. If you watch the conversations of successful people across the world, you will see that their speech is positive, precise, and that they think highly of themselves and their achievements. If you have been engaging in negative speech towards yourself or others, take comfort in the fact that all of us have the ability to change the destructive speech, thinking patterns, and behavior. The process of getting a positive outlook on life begins with being transparent and admitting that we have fallen into a negative pattern. The first step you should take is to monitor your language, because most people don't know that they have been sabotaging their life. Ours. If you fear that you will not be objective, ask someone to help monitor you. If you have been using negative language, you should replace it with words that are positive, declarative, and specific. Speak words that shift your energy and put you in control of every situation you find yourself. You will find that your outlook of life will change, and people will want to engage with you more than they did before. Positive self-talk is embraced. Any benefits are tied to positive self-talk, including increased performance, greater vitality, better physical health, less stress, improved function of the immune system, greater satisfaction in life, and reduced risk of cardiovascular disease. The benefits listed above are experienced by individuals who engage in positive self-talk. Science supports the claim that people with positive self-talk could be leading themselves to develop mental skills that allow them to think in a different light, solve problems, and be more effective in dealing with challenges and hardships. Taking up a new habit that is not driven by a strong desire is difficult. It takes a lot of time and effort. Positive self-talk will become your new norm as you will notice a shift in your thinking. The following tips will ensure that you succeed. You will be conscious when doing an impromptu check on yourself. Do you think your self-talk has taken a negative turn? If it has, you can reverse it. Positive words about yourself can always be used to steer the conversation. Images such as stick notes on your laptop and all over your workspace will remind you that you are strong and capable. Have you had someone laugh at a sad situation? He or she chose to find humor in both good and bad things. It helps to laugh and see the funny side of things. If you find yourself in a situation that requires humor, you will not have any negative feelings inside of you. While you may feel powered and ready to take on the world by maintaining positivity inside yourself, there undoubtedly will be situations that will heighten your negative self-talk. Take note of the event that led to this and prepare yourself so that you don't get thrown off again. If you can't change the negative self-talk, you should seek the services of a therapist. Therapist is a mental health expert, and he or she will help you discover the sources of the negative talk and teach you how to flip the switch. It's good to speak positively to other people. Every word you say to people has an effect on them. Negative words will discourage and tear them down, but positive words will build, strengthen, and encourage them. It is not easy to remain positive when someone is angry with you. Speaking positively requires deliberate resolution. If you don't want to build and strengthen other people with your words, know that they are a reflection of what is inside you and a reflection of the attitude you have towards yourself and to life. It would be impossible to receive anything good out of life if all you see is negative. For your sake, try to be positive. How to adopt positive speech? It's easy to turn your speech into a positive one in the following easy steps. Do it. 1. Ensure that only positive things surround you. Information overloads us in this digital era. It is difficult to keep off the negative words, but you can use positive words. If you begin to have positive thoughts, you will begin to surround yourself with optimism and positive vibes that will kick out the negative vibe. The company of positive people should be kept. Ensuring that only positive people surround you is difficult because the world has more negative people than positive. Positive people are a source of entertainment and joy, and the rewards are worth it. If you meet a positive person, befriend them. Your life will be changed positively when you do this. According to science, psychologists found that when an angry person joined a group of happy, optimistic people, their moods improved immediately. When an optimistic person was asked to stay next to people with a bad mood, the negative vibe spread. Remember happy events from the past. Medical professionals don't like to recall the past. If you only recall the happy moments of the past, you will be safe. Think of how happy you were when your spouse brought you flowers and chocolate, or when you got a positive appraisal at work, when you received your promotion letter. Remember when your father or mother said that they were proud of you. To maintain a happy mood, avoid remembering negative events. 4. Take up positive literature. When people leave high school or college, they assume that they have finished basic learning and that they now know everything. They are wrong. You should keep reading to expand your knowledge and to provide answers to questions you may have. Before purchasing a book, read about its plot first. The market is filled with books that will help turn your world around from the negative to the affirmative. 5. You can listen to good music. Person's mood is affected by the music he or she listens to frequently. If you want to heighten the level of positivity in your life, keep off songs that make you angry and stick to those that make you happy. The sad songs leave you feeling depressed, helpless, and miserable. Always start the day with a smile. There is a saying that says a good day is seen in the morning. This means that the way in which you start your day is the way in which you end it. This is the reason you should start your day with a smile, so that you have the same smile at the end of it. Don't let anything get in the way of your mood. If you start your day on a negative note, you don't have to end it in the same way. Fix it. When you smile at everyone and everything, you will see that your mood will improve. 7. You can engage in morning exercises and other sports during the day. Sports have been praised for their effect on mental health. Exercising in the morning will make you happy all day long. You will have a better day if you engage in sports or take up a sport. Helping people from your community is a good thing. You feel good about yourself once you assist one person, even if it's just showing them the direction. During the day, you will either be thinking about the events of the past that brought you joy, or looking for more opportunities to help people so you can feel as good as you did earlier. The kind people are always happy and eager to help. 9. You should maintain control of your emotions. To maintain control of your thoughts and emotions, try to have a positive mood all the time. You can remind yourself of your commitment to positive thinking by coming up with something you do. If you have negative thoughts, you could pinch yourself or rub a ring on your finger. You will be able to fill your body with positive energy with time. 10. Do the things you like. We don't like to do things they're forced to do. It's annoying when someone asks you to do something you don't want to do. Many people lead angry lives because they hate their jobs and feel stuck in their relationships, among other factors. These people don't often step out of their comfort zones to try something new. 11. Take a lot of water. Putting in the right foods in a good ration will help you feel better. The secret to your body becoming more energetic is more water. It is mandatory for you to drink 2 cups of water when you wake up. You need the right vitamins and minerals for your body to remain vibrant. Chapter 6. Learn how to cut out negative behavior. In an organization, behavior is important. It may take a company 20 years to build a reputation, but only 5 minutes to ruin it. The reputation of your company affects everything from its market share to its ability to source supplies. The company's profitability is pegged to these factors. We could say that organization behavior matters more than your reputation. Anything that affects your profitability is serious. It is the management's job to ensure that its employees are held accountable for adhering to a certain standard of behavior. It is the reason why bosses are very strict at work. No one, including the top management, should get away with it because they want the right kinds of attitudes and behavior to be fostered in their companies. Before we get rid of the bad behavior, we need to understand why people do it. The first reason is that they don't care. Some people don't feel the need to foster good working relationships because they don't see relationships as motivators. They are interested in what they can do to get themselves to these results, not the idea of working to maintain friends. They're used to having their way. The management feels that people who prove themselves useful to an organization are indispensable. Everyone else will avoid teamwork because of the nasty attitude. People develop bad behavior at the workplace because they can't help it. There are a few people who suffer from a neurological disorder that causes them to lose it with everyone. It is easy to see that something beyond their will is directing them. How can you remove negative behavior from your organization? Speak with individuals or groups about their bad behavior. Speak with them in person and in a private place so that they are more receptive to your correction, unlike in a public place where they would be embarrassed and feel the need to retaliate, either physically or mentally. Asking that they be free to speak on anything that could be causing their behavior is one way to begin the conversation. If the negative behavior has spread throughout the company, address it on an organization-wide scale during the organization's meetings. Provide an opportunity for your employees to speak up and have their say. It's a good idea to steer clear of embarrassing individual employees in forums like these. Do not use specific examples. Without treating the management and employees as separate entities, the open forum should only serve to uncover the reasons behind the negative behavior as an institution. The causes of the negative behavior should be the focus of your problem-solving process. People exhibit negative behavior because of their bottled-up concerns about certain things. Employees may subconsciously develop negative attitudes towards their supervisors when they feel that they have been treated unfairly. In a case like this, finding the underlying cause of the issue is more important than addressing the attitude problem. You can become a role model by modeling the behavior you want to see in the personnel. If you are the embodiment of ideal organizational behavior, your juniors will begin to mirror the good behavior. Like children in a family, employees pick up on signals from their superiors. If you feel that you have the right to behave that way because you are the boss, you need to rethink your stance. If you have learned that your employees leave work earlier than they should consider changing your behavior to restore the high bar. There are ways to curb negative behavior in the workplace. Ensuring that negative behavior doesn't occur in the first place is the best way to cut it out. The following tips will help keep it at bay. Healthy space will allow people to express their opinions about the procedures and processes you have put in place. The staff will have something to say regarding their work hours. Pay, over time, hours, dress codes, working environment, job requirements, and benefits. Listen and make changes where necessary, ensuring that the policies you uphold are those that will speed up the process of reaching the organizational goals is the only way to go. The employees are adults with free will and should be treated with fairness. Provide opportunities for your staff to make decisions that affect their jobs. One of the main sources of conflict between the employees and the management is when the management makes decisions without asking for their opinion or input. Only a few of your staff are breaking the rules, so don't introduce new rules that affect all of them. It makes them feel like they are suffering the consequences of other people's mistakes. Don't treat your employees with suspicion. Your workforce is worthy of your trust and respect because they work for you. Begin from a point of trust, and then discover individual characteristics with time based on the employee's truthfulness, performance, and contribution. Everyone in your organization should feel included. Do not give anyone preferential treatment or allow others to get information ahead of the rest. Explain the reasons behind your decision so that your people don't feel like you are imposing conditions on them. Provide an atmosphere that allows growth and development through training, promotions, and other lateral moves that will prove your organization's commitment to the employee's growth. Success habits are embraced in the workplace. People who have achieved great success across different fields swear by one common slogan. They had to leverage the power of habit to ingrain the positive habits that led them to their success. If you read the biographies and autobiographies of people that have enjoyed success in their lifetimes, you will learn that they learned to cultivate success habits and eventually brought their success. It is possible to make good behavior a habit among employees in an organization. The culture of the organization is the bedrock for achieving success. According to the American Journal of Psychology, a habit is a fixed way of feeling. Thinking and doing that is acquired after consistent repetition of a mental experience. This means that whenever a behavior pattern is repeated consistently, it is registered in the brain's neural pathways, and with every repetition, the link between the action and the context becomes stronger. When the behavior becomes automatic, you don't need to engage your senses. For you to succeed in taking up success habits, you must understand that the process is a sort of psychic journey. You will be leaving the familiar behind and going to a new place. The journey might be uncomfortable, but you will be acquiring habits that are good for you in the long run and will help you achieve your professional and personal goals. It can be quite unnerving to be walking away from your comfort zone to adapt new foreign behavior. When you are only beginning to practice the new habit, there is a significant amount of self-discipline will be needed. The reason for this is that the old habits are still firmly in place and they may exert their influence on how you behave. It will take your conscious will to get over the negative behaviors and begin to exert the new one. This is the true price of success, so encourage your employees to do the same. With every practice, the new habit will become even more entrenched in your life. In about 21 days of consistent practice, the new habit will become a part of your routine, and you will no longer need to engage your will to do the specific act. You can take pride in the fact that you have added a new brick to the foundation of your long-term success. There are examples of success habits at the workplace. Planning. It's impossible to do much without a plan. Successful people usually plan their days down to the minute. They hire people to make sure that they stick to their schedules. Ensure that there is adequate planning in your organization, whether hourly, daily, weekly, monthly, annually, or all. Scheduling. Scheduling is closely related to planning. The activities are assigned a set time and there are no deviations. Goal must be accomplished at a certain time. Successful people know that there is no time to waste and that they have to do what needs to be done. Have priorities. It is the enemy of perfect. If an organization needed its employees to do more than one job, the management wouldn't hire people according to their areas of expertise. The people are more productive by being specialization, increases the quality of performance and makes the people more productive. People pursuing success would rather prioritize what is of most importance and do it perfectly rather than take on a whole load of tasks and perform dismally. Accountability. It's to commit yourself to doing something. Successful people hold themselves accountable for their actions as well as the aftermath of them. They look at their day to see if they did what was required of them or not. To ensure that the performance standards are maintained, organizations hold their employees accountable through appraisals and supervision exercise to ensure that their brains and the rest of the body are working well. Successful people get into the habit of exercising regularly. When you occupy your mind with something outside of work, you can take a break and relax so that you are ready for the next day. It has been shown that exercise is a form of antidepressant. Have gratitude. You have better connections with others working with you if you take on an attitude of gratitude. It adds to your sense of self-esteem when you express your appreciation for the good things that have been deposited in your life. Your brain is active and you start to feel positive vibes. Adhere to a positive attitude. Encourage people to be happy where possible. Place wall hangings that make them smile or laugh. Hard work can be rewarded with good gifts. With time, both the management and the employees will be giving positive vibes, so do all you can to fill the environment with positivity. Maintaining a positive environment is part of your organizational culture. Limit distraction. Employees should be allowed to take small breaks after 2 or 3 hours of work. They should not use this time to scroll through the social media sites or play computer games. They will be distracted from the core business of the organization if those habits are upheld. Sleeping should be a priority. There will be days when employees must work extra hard to nation master, 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 master. Encourage them to have 6.5 hours of sleep every day to ensure they are productive the next day. Sleeping at work should be banned. 10. Follow-up? It doesn't mean that people should be chased up and down at the workplace, but that they should be given gentle reminders when they should submit their work and the standards to uphold. It's important to keep a close eye on finance when third parties are involved. 11. Punctuality. It's important to make it a habit to be where you need it the most. Employees value their work and value each other's time if they do this. Encourage everyone in your organization to embrace professionalism, preparation, and readiness for duty to avoid wasting time and cultivating negative emotions. 12. Proper use of language. The lines at the workplace may be crossed from time to time due to the fast pace of the working environment. Stress, familiarity, and friendship, evidenced by the language used to communicate and to greet one another. Relaxed environment brings down work and violates the peaceful working environment. To be entrenched in the organizational culture, proper language and salutation must be reinforced. Doing this creates a level of professionalism and courtesy that is good for the workforce, the customers, the suppliers, the investors, and the community around the business, among other stakeholders. Chapter 7 teaches the ways to make your company thrive. Any strategies can be used to facilitate growth and expansion for your company. Here's a number that will ensure your business thrives. 1. Protect your cash flow. Your number one goal in business is to protect what you already have. If you keep losing money in the name of making money, you will be pushed out of the market. When it comes to protecting what you have first, it's the best approach to this. Regardless of how tough the times get, there needs to be cash circulating for your business to survive. Taking up strategies that will ensure the cash keeps flowing will protect your business. The strategies include Carefully review the credit histories of your customers to make sure that they agree with the policies of your company, to ensure that you only sell to clients who can pay their dues promptly. Your credit policies should be tight. When requesting for payment, make sure that you send your invoices early so that you don't get the impression that you don't care about your money. Check the credit terms of your suppliers to see if they will allow you to extend the credit period for longer. You can change the contracts you've entered to make them more favorable to you. If economic times change, you can negotiate with your lender, property owners, and contractors to see if they can lower their rates. If you keep your eyes open, you can see the direction the storm is headed. You will be fully aware of the economic conditions around you. Software tools can help you track, manage, and forecast your cash flow. There are a lot of accounting tools in the market. 2. Focus more on the strengths or core competencies of your business. Diversification is a smart strategy for businesses that want to take up a larger share of the market. Business owners think that diversification means different. Adding new products to your product line is a waste of money and other resources. It can damage your core business because it pulls resources from your core competencies, and this can damage your brand and, consequently, your reputation. If you want to make money, focus on the things that bring you the most profits. 3. Take advantage of your current client. Head of the old saying is that a bird in your hand is worth two in the bush. What is in your hand today is worth much more than what you anticipate to get tomorrow. The 10 clients you hold today are more important than the 1,000 clients you anticipate to have. Your client is your direct link to the market and an opportunity to advertise your brand without incurring any costs. If the client remains loyal, you will be assured of a client base. If you want to protect your business from the effects of recession, ensure that you secure all potential profits by ensuring that your marketing does not ignore the existing customers. 4. Ensure your personal credit is in good shape. Some businesses don't live to see another day because the economic climate becomes less favorable. If the owners have good personal credit, they can borrow money to keep their business going. To ensure that you will be safe even if the recession hits, keep an eye on your credit rating and the business and do what you need to do to keep the credit ratings high. 5. Do not reduce your marketing effort when the cash flow ceases to be as regular or as high as it was when times were better. Some businesses make the mistake of cutting back their costs by reducing their marketing budget or completely. During times of economic hardship, business needs marketing the most because the customers are looking to make smart purchasing decisions. It is your marketing that will help them find your services and products. Don't stop marketing, and if you can, step up your game. 6. Come up with strategies to take your competitors' customers. Growth for any business necessitates that the business expands its customer base because it is through their purchasing that the revenues and the profits grow. If the entire market is taken, how can you get new customers if you don't take them from the competition? They need something better than the competition offers. If you conduct research and work towards a nicer offer, you will see your competitors turn into your customers. 7. Go over your inventory management practices. Review your production practices to see how you can cut back on inventory costs without affecting the quality and quantity of production. Don't order too many supplies that end up going bad or being wasted. If you can get the same supplies at a cheaper price, contact the other supplier. Look through the entire value chain to see what can be cut back on and what can be improved to better your profits. If you have established a relationship with your current supplier, you should still look for cheaper supplies. Business is more about getting more money into your pocket than it is about maintaining financial relationships. 8. It is necessary to impress during the first encounter. People always remember the first impression, even if you are better or worse. When you first deal with a client or supplier, give them a warm welcome that will keep them from forgetting about your business. If you want to keep them, you must have good relationships with them. If someone was rude to you when you walked in, you would not feel good. Make sure that you don't give your clients poor treatment. Outsource some of the work. Office work can be difficult if it takes a lot of time to get through, or it can be boring if it gets boring. You and your people should be able to move on to the next thing without being taken from the goals of your organization. Give some of the work to specialists who can get it done quicker. 10. Retrain your staff. Your workforce may be skilled, but they need to improve their skills occasionally. Set aside some time for them to be retrained, especially for those working in departments where there are constant industry changes. Developing and growing your workforce is one of the key approaches to developing your business. They will improve their performance and increase the returns to the business. 11. Excellent customer service can be delivered. It is important that you please your customers. Customers should be treated with respect and courtesy, and should be provided with whatever they need without having to wait. Ensure that on your side, you do all you can to attend to the needs of your customers, even if some of them are problematic. It's a good idea to avoid advertising or giving promises that you can't deliver on. 12. Customer feedback can be found through reviews. There are many online businesses that have nailed it when it comes to customer reviews. They use the reviews to market their business and to improve their business processes, be it in the production or delivery stages. The reviews help to foster a relationship between the business and the customer. Most online businesses have a customer review section, or they conduct some follow-up via email to requests for the customer's views on the quality of product or service delivered. If a store cannot establish an online customer reviews page, a brick and mortar store can. Most customers shy away from speaking out about their experiences and prefer to write about it on the online platform. If the business is able to fix the situation, it will win the attention and affection of the larger audience. The negative remark serves as an advertisement, but only if it is addressed to the satisfaction of the customer. Ensuring your business does not need you. Think about what your dream was when you were starting your business. Are you looking for a source of constant income? Were you creating a place where unemployed staff can find decent work and be rewarded for their efforts? Is it your intention to bring products and services closer to the community you serve? You may have started your business by one or all of the above reasons, but I'm sure there is another reason. You wanted to build a legacy or empire that would be successful even if you weren't there. That is the dream of an entrepreneur. All that matters is whether the dream will survive our absence. Most companies begin to experience sporadic growth when they begin to depend on a system rather than their owners. According to one of the top business persons in the world, stable structure, organizational culture, and teams are needed for a company to be independent. It is possible for the company to handle all marketplace blows with a foundation like this. Strategies owners can use to transform their businesses into independent organizations that don't require the owner's facilitation. Put systems in place. System is a combination of procedures and processes that allow a company to grow and thrive. They are the company's best practices pulled together into a collection of tools that employees use to ensure that everything is running smoothly. Think of all the tasks you do on a daily basis. You could start by guiding an employee who is unsure of the steps to take. You have to go there to calm the situation down because more people have done things the wrong way. The conversation with the staff who'd argued about certain processes turned sour. What can you do on a typical day? It would take a lot of work to put out fires that your employees start. Imagine what the situation would be if you already had systems in place and taught your staff how to use them. How many fires would you be putting off? There is a simple answer. It is advisable to set up procedures for employees to follow when there is a particular problem. Get into the details of who will cover a position when another is out on a vacation or ill. List guidelines to be followed when posting content on social media. How to handle an upset customer. How to reverse a wrong order. And every other issue that would be a source of contention. If you want to get the opinion of the rest of the staff, ask other senior staff to help you with the setup. Your systems should be updated regularly so that they are current. 2. Release your hold on things. If you're satisfied with the systems you've set up, it's time to let the system run itself. One of the hardest things for entrepreneurs to let go of is an obvious and easy thing to do. They have a hard time because they have poured their heart and soul into the business, and some will have buried their finances into the business. They feel like they are giving up on their life's achievements when they release. It is possible for your management team and the rest of the staff to take their positions and prove their ability to shine if you let them go. It shows the team that you trust them to carry on the system and the culture of the organization. You should not abandon the organization and leave at once. Go on a short vacation, then come back and review the progress. If you are not sure that your organization is in safe hands, take a longer 2-week break. Then a month later, you can let the system run by itself. Once this is done, you must maintain your place behind the scenes. If you have set elaborate systems in place and let go, your finger should remain on the switch of the institution. You shouldn't serve on and off bases, but your presence and influence should be felt, though you will be working behind the scenes. When your company is expanding or launching a new product, you need to be at the forefront promoting the expansion. Your expertise is needed as well. Chapter 8. Learn tips for building up your team so it can deliver a high performance. There is a difference between a high-performing team and a bad team in the corporate environment. Team with poor output derails the agenda of the organization. High-performance team pushes an organization beyond its limits. If you were running an organization, you would want a high performance from your team. Here's how to make one. There are factors that go into putting together a high-performance team. Its size. Any members are one of the most critical mistakes a team can make. The productivity of the team will be low if the team exceeds 8 members. In a big team, some members do not get to speak, and others become passive, allowing other people to work on their behalf. An effective team should have at most 6 or 7 members. The recruitment of others. Peer recruitment is one of the keys to forming a successful team. The candidates choose the peers they would like to work with early on in the recruitment stage. The team can choose who they would like to work with, and this help increases the chance that the person will succeed. It increases the chance that the peers will spot the best talent. Diversity. Organizations pay more attention to the diversity of their teams. Some forms of diversity are visible, such as gender, race, age, and color, but there is also invisible diversity that is equally important. Factors like life stories and experiences, personality differences, and other factors that make people different should be taken into account by the selection team. Diversity of thought is brought to the table by teams that have more invisible diversity. The members complement each other. Although it is important to choose a person who is competent in what he or she does, I think it is even more important to consider how this person will complement his or her peers. What is the level of self-esteem? Awareness? Is it possible for the person to resolve conflict with others? Corporations should prioritize character over skills. Skills can be learned, but a bad character is difficult to fix. There are 8.2 tips to help you turn your team into a high-performance team. 1. Model your team after a high-performing team. If you come across a team that is doing well, whether within your organization or outside, ask its leader the secret to the success and try to borrow some tips from this information. You don't have to model them systematically because their setting could be different from yours. If you sit in their meetings to see how they operate, you can ask your team to experiment with it. The commonality of goals must be ensured. It takes time and effort to align the minds of a group of people to the same goal. This is important because once your team is divided, not much can be achieved. It is your duty as their leader to communicate to them the short-term and long-term goals so that they can begin to plan and work for the greater good. Make the expectations known. Everyone working in an organization should be aware of what is expected of them. Protocol needs to be understood by all. If you leave your workers without direction, they will not be productive or focused on the goals of the organization, and thus they will not add any value to the team. 4, you should come up with the proper rules of engagement for your team. One of the top challenges leaders face when dealing with people is how to manage and enforce the rules of engagement. Your rules of engagement should take into account the goals of the organization, the rules that govern the operation at hand, and the responsibilities of the team members. Any leaders struggle to define these rules. They wonder if they should do away with all team rules, or if they should impose some rules that could squash innovation and creativity. The downside of allowing members to make their own rules is that no one will want to step up and take his place because each person will be waiting for another to take action. An attitude like this paralyzes the team and brings an opposite effect to what was desired. Rules of engagement may appear to choke and paralyze the members, but they are more effective in bringing out the desired behavior, the kind that drives the team to achieve their goals. 5. Redundancy is the reason to hire the right skills and fire. Setting out to select a hire is the best thing to do. The cream of the group is the most sought after talent. This is the reason many major companies have extended interview processes. They want to end up hiring only those that understand the organizational goal and the positions they hold towards the achievement of these goals. The systems and culture you're working on bringing forth can be hurt by hiring the wrong talent. Don't just hire based on the basic hard skills because so many people have them today. Make sure that your hires fit into the culture of your team and that they get along with other team members. One upcoming trend is that of leaders choosing to conduct their interviews outside the professional setting and taking their applicants to restaurants and bars to see if they connect. The focus is no longer on the time and money spent looking for the right candidate, but on the candidate that has the strongest soft skills and a positive attitude, one that will save you more money in the future. 6. Encourage each member to speak up during the meeting. You must have been in a meeting at a point in your life where you felt the need to speak up. How did you feel when decisions were made without your input? Did you feel significant or forgotten? Whenever this happens in a different social setting, a person begins to look down on him or herself and think that their input no longer matters. People don't attend the meetings and social gatherings. If you notice that the number attending is growing smaller by the day, please consider how you treat your team members. Do you give him or her the time of day? Does the team member feel valued? Is the employee demoralized and not seeing the need to attend the meetings? Or is he or she involved in planning and decision-making? As a leader, you have the responsibility of making your team feel valued and needed so that they participate in the proceeding. Ensure that your meetings are short and concise so that people don't feel like they're wasting time. Provide your employees with the relevant materials early on and schedule your meeting for the productive times of the day when the fatigue is yet to set in. Key stakeholders should attend the meeting. If people show up for your meetings, assign them duties in the meeting so that they are constantly engaged in the meeting. If the meeting is interactive, ask for feedback and questions. If anyone is hesitant to give their opinion, get them to give it. Do not expect a smooth sailing. You may need to negotiate. Talk about the most critical issues first so that they are out of the way, but remain open to hearing new opinions, being open for compromise. After all possible decisions have been discussed and the outcome agreed upon, the final decision should be made. 7. Ensure that there is great chemistry in your teams. The reason for having smaller and more diverse teams is not only to get things done, but also to ensure that there's an atmosphere of collaboration and chemistry among the team members. In the quest to get people who understand the company vision and how the company is run, leaders may make the mistake of hiring people who are exactly like them, but doing this only creates teams of people who are alike. A team of clones. Agreeing with your team is not chemistry. The basic definition of chemistry is the coming together of different elements to form one new element that is more stable or even better than the individual element. And this form only develops chemistry when each member understands the role that he or she plays and understands the next member. Like your team, like a soccer team. The players on some of the greatest teams don't have to look up as they kick the ball because they know where their teammates are. The chemistry is the certainty. The rest of the players are certain that they have his or her back. To get your teams to this level of trust, higher based on skill but also based on character, as described in a previous point, you will be amazed at how easy your organization will be to run. There are friendships at the workplace. Working with a friend is much more enjoyable than working with someone else. You don't need to attend a social gathering to see how acquaintances treat each other. Everyone smiles and treats the other with some feigned courtesy that they don't exhibit to their families or friends. Everyone is trying to give a good impression so that others can see how nice or good the person is. That is what we all do in public. Everyone is afraid of stepping on other people's toes because they are afraid of expressing their true opinions. In some situations, the rest of the group shuns the few that dare. You don't want this in a team setting where people are expected to work together. You and your staff need to cultivate friendship. You have the freedom to be yourself when you are with your friends. You give ideas without fear of being turned down or looked down upon. You correct them. And you do not feel the need to speak out in fear that speaking out would hurt someone and ruin your friendship. Your friends are you. They will take you as you are. They work with you to achieve your goals rather than competing with you. When stuck, your friend will help you and encourage you to become a better version of yourself. An atmosphere of friendship is important in all companies. Adam Grant, a professor at the University of Pennsylvania, says that when employees are given the space and opportunity to create friends, their satisfaction at work increases. He found that the groups of friends performed better than the groups of acquaintances. It is possible that friends vested in each other's performance and development. If you want a faster friendship at the workplace, you need to give your team opportunities to know each other outside of work. They need to bond doing things they love, such as sports, and doing other things on the weekends. As you do more of these events, the atmosphere in the office will change, and people will start to be more friendly, caring, and tolerant of each other. Activities that will get your employees to work together include going to dinner together, going on a retreat, celebrating personal milestones like baby showers, volunteering, or working out together will build the bond. Buddy program will allow new hires to be taught the ropes of their jobs and to be absorbed into the team spirit. 9. Your employees have the liberty to make decisions. When you show them that you trust them, then they want to step up. We all like to be praised and liked for what we do. No one likes to be a source of disappointment. Ensure that every member of the team feels obliged to perform to their best. If you want to assure and demonstrate trust and respect in regard to his or her decisions that influence the future of the company or its culture, you have to do this. Allow the members to mentor and monitor each other. You can allow them to choose which vendors they want to source materials from. The employee of the month is they will take action and trust their judgments if they make these decisions. As your organization grows, you will need to leave some decisions, even the most crucial of them, in the hands of your team. Ensuring that the decisions of the future will be proper even in your absence is the first step in making capacity at the team level. 10. Ask your employees to become brand ambassadors. Your employees proud to carry your brand. Send a team or a single member to represent you if there is an event or conference that brings different companies together. The reason for this is that they start to feel valued and a crucial part of the making of your brand. This is good for remote workers. If there is an event happening in their area, ask them to carry the company brand there. 11. Issue perks. Everyone loves perks. Employees develop an attachment to their organization due to this. Think about it. That is how relationships are built. People give each other gifts as a sign that they appreciate each other. Employees become more attached to their teams and the company when perks are part of the culture. Free gym membership. Company cars. Free meals. Unlimited vacations. Family fun days. And other perks are what the employees would appreciate the most. It will depend on the culture of the organization and the budget you have. Not a single company has built its brand without building its workforce. It is important for your employees to stand by the dream you have for your company before you can start working towards it. Ensure that your employees are not overlooked, left out or ignored, because that is what propels your company's success, both internal and external. 12. It's time to stop holding meetings that waste time. When the team starts holding meetings willy-nilly, I am always the first person to walk out. It's bad to have to sit at a meeting where nothing is being discussed. Meetings provide an excellent forum for providing information and discussing issues that affect the entire group. The reality on the ground is that most meetings are poorly structured and rarely achieve the agenda they were designed to achieve. The reason for this is that most meetings are held to generate ideas rather than discuss and evaluate the ideas that have already been given. Everyone on your team will have an idea about something. Not much can be achieved when everyone starts raising ideas during the meeting. Instead, all these ideas should be raised and submitted prior to the meeting so that members only have to sift through the ideas with the intention of pulling down or enhancing them. Don't let your team get carried away and take too much time during the meeting. There will be less attendance in the next one if you do. People will have many reasons why they can't attend. The members will begin to look forward to the next meeting if your meetings are kept short, interesting, and productive. It would be better if you held 4:30. Meeting that lasts 2 hours is tiring. 13. Trust and vulnerability are important. Lack of trust is one of the top reasons teams fail. There should be an atmosphere where members can talk about their life experiences. Then this level of sharing allows members to connect with each other emotionally, and this is an excellent way of building strong bonds among teams and across your organization. 14. You should recognize your employees' performance. The human spirit is driven by recognition. People work harder when they are recognized for their efforts. You have the option to recognize your employees with non-monetary reward includes sending emails, recognizing individuals in public, or throwing a party. Monetary rewards can be given in the form of bonuses, raises, and promotions. Recognition isn't just about giving benefits. It's also about getting the management to pay attention and recognize their workers. Building relationships in the workplace help to foster loyalty, engagement, and dedication. If you come up with ways to show your gratitude to the teams for their work, you may notice that their productivity will improve. 15. Encourage collaboration. Instead of sharing tasks among team members and having each member work on his tasks before the work is brought together, get your teams the technologies and tools that cause them to work together. The workers don't feel detached from each other. They get to understand what other members are doing and why they are doing it and feel more invested in the project. The entire team will be on the same page and some will have gained skills they did not have before. 16. Get the right communication tools. Communication is important for any level of interaction in the organization. Emails, video conferencing, texts, direct messaging, and phone conversations are some of the ways leaders use to facilitate communication. Ensure that the tool you choose is available to all team members and that they know how to use it well. Rules and protocol of how your team is going to use their tools should also be in place. Sending sensitive emails using a facility that does not code the information would be dangerous. Sending irrelevant messages that have nothing to do with the team should not be allowed. If someone is virtually attending your weekly meetings, set up some space on the table for them so that they feel included. This will make the person feel part of the organization. Schedule one-on-one time with each of your members, either virtually or physically. While communication through your chosen media is working well, insisting on an intimate meeting will show each member that they are cared for. Chapter 9 teaches how to maintain a learning environment to achieve great results. The organizational culture that encourages the growth of your personnel and healthy collaboration among the employees or the teams is called a learning culture. It fosters an environment of mutual gain so that the staff gets opportunity to learn and increase their level while allowing the organization to benefit from their knowledge and talent and to adapt to the constantly changing business environment. The organization facilitates the growth of its employees, and in return, the people help the organization to grow. Learning culture is a strategic organizational growth tool because the company's internal systems, skills, and structures evolve with increased learning. Learning causes the organization to become more responsive and agile so that it is able to meet the evolving needs of its customers through product innovation, improved service delivery, and the ability to penetrate a niche market. An organization has to adopt international strategies to create an environment that allows continuous learning. How to make a learning organization. The success of creating a learning culture is dependent on the strategies that are applied to motivate learning. The process of creating that culture is often quite gruesome and is dependent on the age and size of the institution you are working with. It is easy to lay the foundations of learning in a new small company compared to instituting the same principles in an old company that has locations all over the place. A lot of effort and time is needed to implement and promote the learning culture in each scenario. Here are the steps to successfully implement your strategy so that you transform your institution into a center of learning. Don't learn the old habits. Oops, did it again. This is not just a line in a song, but it is what many of us go through. We do things that we promised ourselves or other people that we wouldn't do anymore. Old habits are hard to stop, and an old dog won't learn new tricks. Learning a new habit becomes hard because of this. It is more difficult to give up old habits than it is to learn new ones. You always find yourself doing the old things because your mind is used to it, and it now functions on autopilot when it comes to that issue. You will find yourself walking the path you used to take to your former job, drinking coffee from your old mug even when you bought a new one, or finding comfort in the clothes you have been wearing for a while, even when you have new clothes. People are creatures of habit, and they are the ones that you bring together to form an organization. Working to unlearn the old habits is at the top of the list. You have to change attitudes, processes, communications, and systems that you've used in the past. Get rid of any habit that doesn't promote continuous learning. Change, growth, and learning are impeded by departments in your institution. If heavy supervision and reporting is standing in the way of innovation, get rid of it. If the functional division of the staff is preventing proper communication and collaboration, it's time to scrap it. To paint the new learning habits, you need to do everything you can to have a fresh canvas. It can be very uncomfortable and sometimes painful. It is likely that your staff won't let go of what they are used to. You will feel the same, but don't give up. Soldier on. If you could get the input of as many people from your company as possible, you could conduct a thorough cleansing. They have experience working with the systems in your institution and are in a better position to identify the habits that affect learning. 2. Start learning the new habits. The time has come to get on with the new. It is time for you and your workforce to develop new habits, attitudes, behaviors, and systems that will support growth consistently, you can begin to learn how to take criticism, how to communicate properly and openly, and how to collaborate. Those that need to learn new skills should head straight for the classes. Performance management needs to be restructured in order to keep up with the changes that are taking place. Learning should be seen as a performance measure, because when it isn't happening, the organization will be stagnant. What happens when you make mistakes in the process of adjusting to a new structure? Mistakes are as human as we can get. Mistakes in life and on the path of organizational development. They take note of the errors we wouldn't have seen. Don't fear mistakes. Embrace the learning journey. In the new layout, the organization's tools and resources should be used to promote creative thinking, sharing of knowledge, and for individual or group learning. At all times, the tools and resources should be made available. Ensure that you create enough room for various teams to hold their meetings. Provide the necessary software to be used for different functional roles. Provide reading material and pay trainers to come and train your people right at the company. When you offer incentives, always do it based on collaborative learning and not on competition. It will be the source of new learning, innovation, and other idealistic activities. If the company encourages diversity of opinion as you lay out the foundation of new learning, include any other resources that the employees could use for their learning, including a time off every month or some workshops you will be holding. Think about who's going to take a position when some employees are away. And this also means that you have to determine whether the employees will be taking up the learning opportunities as a group at the expense of stopping all operations at the company, or in batches so that are left behind manning various stations. Support learning. You shouldn't leave the young setup to roll itself out if you want to establish a learning culture. Your staff should be able to live what they are learning at the workplace so that they can share the knowledge they are learning and the skills they are acquiring. They can see the value and worth of what they are learning. Provide opportunities for your employees to work in a team if they are going through training on how to work in teams. Give the management staff opportunities to plan for the next projects if they have taken up project planning training. For your organization to go through learning, you must be a visionary leader who encourages change. It takes a strong leader to tear apart the old fabric of the organization, to abandon the old structure, and to take up changes without any assurance that they will work well for your organization. When the situation gets tough, you have to encourage yourself and encourage others to keep going. The top management of any learning organization needs to be aligned. 4. Support the new learning culture with some digital resources. People rarely go to libraries to read. The majority of the resources we need can be accessed through the internet. If you need more information, you should read this book. The internet has a lot of knowledge. Majority of the job roles have an online component. They include storing data in the cloud, sending emails, project tracking software, collaborative platforms, and other digital resources. The digital resources should be easy to use and tailored to the needs of the organization. Once you have strategically placed all the digital systems and tools and made them a constant resource, you will notice that your staff will be more open to learning. The more engaging the learning management system is, the more likely the staff will be interested in learning. Continue to act until you turn your institution into a learning institution. Supporting resources should be installed to make sure that learning is continuous. There are benefits to expect from establishing a learning culture. It increases productivity. The bar is raised through continuous improvement. Succession planning can be aided by developing a skilled and knowledgeable workforce. The culture of knowledge sharing, inquiry, and adaptive capacity was created. It increases efficiency, increased profits. It reduces employee turnover, an increase in the employee's ability to adapt to change. Maintaining the learning culture is important. Maintaining learning in your organization ensures that for the long haul, Your staff remains knowledgeable and prepared to cope with all market changes because your employees' knowledge grows slowly. Engaging the learning process from the orientation point to the brushing up of skills increases the effectiveness of the learning process and the chances of your company being productive and to meet its objectives. Strategies that ensure learning continues. There is positional training, online training, on-the-job training, official classes in school, coaching and self-training are some of the ways positional training is done. Taught learning, one method alone is not enough. You should take up a combination of them, depending on the preferred learning styles and the learning opportunities that come up. To encourage your employees to keep learning, offer tuition reimbursements. Your staff will be more productive and your company's prestige will increase when your workforce is well educated. Orientation. New employees should be shown the new employee orientation training you have set up. They should be taught about the history of the company, the policies of your organization, legal measures including sexual harassment policies, computer use policies, and other general employee matters. When employees go through the orientation process, they acquire a solid foundation that will help them take up and adapt to your company's corporate culture. Assessment. To measure progress in your organization, use metrics. It is possible to do the assessments through examination, skill demonstration, verbal or a survey. In addition to making the employees take the training seriously, formal assessments give an accurate assessment of the effectiveness of the ongoing training sessions. After the training sessions are done, conduct a follow-up to determine how much of what was learned has been retained. If the assessment produces low scores, consider providing additional training to increase retention and reinforce the information in the minds of your workforce. 4. Ensure that there is continuous learning. I've heard that people who take a long time to further their studies after a bachelor's degree are more likely to face difficulties after graduation. The reason is that once you take a long time off the system, the mind slows down in terms of grasping content. Unlike the minds of those who persist in class, the minds of the latter group will still be active. Employees who keep on learning will be eager to learn more things because their minds are already used to grasping and processing learning content. Employees who don't train often might present a negative attitude toward learning, or they may have difficulty adjusting from the working environment to the classroom environment, which could impede learning. The goal of any organization is to have its employees seek out knowledge and information to improve their output. The objective of decentralizing authority and empowering your employees is worth it. Chapter 10. Learn the tips, strategies, and techniques that will improve your personal and professional performance. We depend on other people's assessment to determine the areas that we need to improve. If you were able to position yourself in a state that demanded accountability to yourself, you would be able to improve your skills and ensure that you were continually learning new things based on the personal benchmarks you set and your continual review of them. When you are able to nation master, 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 the quality of your life improves, your confidence grows, and you begin to develop your person. From a personal and professional perspective, there are some tips, strategies, and techniques you can take up to ensure that you continually improve your performance. 1. Understand what you were hired to do. Before you can boost your performance, you need to understand your job description. You'd be surprised at the number of people who go to work. They don't have a clear idea of what their roles are. These people will not know what the most important tasks are for them. Ensure that you have a clear job description, and if unsure, ask your supervisor or boss to clarify. You should set out to bring change once you have the right information. Ensure that your presence is seen in a positive light. 2. Write your vision It is said that a man is blind if he doesn't have a vision. This statement is correct. It would be hard to know where you are going without a clear vision. Think about what you would like to do in the next year, 2 years, 3 years, or 10 years. Where do you want to go to lead you? What will you change? What will you keep? Make a list of the things you need to do to become the person you want to be. Set milestones. The road to success can be long. If you had a successful person narrate their path to success, you would probably give up on trying yourself. Don't give up because you will have things to look forward to in the form of milestones, as long as it appears. It is possible to see yourself achieving one level of success after another with the help of milestones. Take some time to celebrate the interim achievement. Big project is broken down into smaller blocks of mini tasks. They act as project success metrics and help to keep your energy level high. Take down all the progress you have made and reward yourself. Sharing your success with others helps them celebrate and encourage you to do even better. Read. You have to read a book to acquire knowledge. You can learn from experience, but the best sources of organized knowledge are the books. You can either read one of the multiple personal development books or read one that is in line with your field and career. If you want to apply the principles of success from the books to your own life or career, you need to start a journal. The rule that the most successful people follow is to read a personal development book every month. Some people read 4 books every month. Sure that you add new knowledge to your kitty by the minute by taking up this reading habit. You will become one of the most successful people if you apply it all. Don't get distracted by distractions. Successful people give all their attention to the task at hand. When we are able to focus on a single project at a time, we can produce the best results. To avoid wasting time with repetition, ensure that you remain focused on what you are doing, waving away distraction so that you accomplish the highest possible success. 6. Do not multitask. We tend to think that we are some superhumans that can work on different tasks at the same time and still be successful. This belief is wrong. Success is divided when you divide your concentration between different tasks. It lowers your progress, slows your IQ, and brings down your emotional intelligence. People who do both things suffer high stress levels and make a lot of mistakes. Try to carry out one task at a time. Prioritize and be organized. You shouldn't be doing anything during the day. Begin your day with a plan of how you intend to spend your time. Before moving on to other tasks, identify the tasks that are of most importance, the ones that will bring the highest value, and complete those first. Make sure that your list of tasks is manageable so that you don't get anxious and make mistakes that will mess up your day. 8. Do not abandon any task. One consequence of biting more than you can chew is that you leave some tasks unattended. You are taking up more tasks than you can complete in a day. People who take up more tasks than they can handle leave most of them incomplete by the end of the day. Is it possible to place a figure on the number of projects you started and stopped? Most people cannot. There are many projects we started and left before they were completed. If you want to turn over a new leaf, make sure you finish all that you set your mind to do. Make a habit of recording everything you do and reward yourself heavily for it. You will be motivated to complete more tasks if you do this. Delegate. Even if they fall in your docket, you are not expected to handle every other task in the organization. The management expects you to only give your attention to important tasks if you are lazy. In the absence of an outsourcing company, delegate tasks that are not too critical or confidential to another party. Do tasks that don't take you away from your core business. Even if they are below your pay grade, the delegation privilege only comes with certain positions. 10. Delay, diminish, and eliminate. Some tasks do not need to be completed today and should be pushed to a later date. Don't forget to focus on what is the most important at the moment. The tasks that are in your schedule are less important. Diminishing takes less time to perform those tasks. If you have a similar document, you don't have to type afresh. It doesn't have to be perfect. It can also be good enough. If someone is better at a certain area, seek their help instead of trying to figure it out on their own. Diminishing is when you simplify, as you did in algebra. There are tasks that do not add value to the process. Some emails do not need a reply, and some tasks can be eliminated without affecting the company. 11. Become a mentor and get one for yourself. Getting a mentor makes it easier for you to develop the skills you need for the path you have chosen in life. From a personal and professional perspective, the mentor is usually someone who has already gone through the stage you are at and has gained some insight, vision, or perspective that you are yet to acquire. When you work with the mentor, he or she will challenge you so that your thinking is stretched and give you advice on how to nurture your talents and skills so that they are of benefit to you, to your organization, and the society. You have a unique experience as a mentor because you are able to guide someone through the lessons you have learned over the years. As you do this, the lessons become more ingrained in you, and you begin to perfect your own work as you mentor more people, and they begin to look up to you. You will become an indispensable asset to your company, which could mean job security, promotion, and other benefits. 12. Learn to listen. Everyone likes to be heard, and having his or her opinion valued is one of the reasons for the value of listening. If all people spoke, there would be chaos. You only pour out what you have in you when you speak, and speaking denies you the chance to learn from others. If you speak all the time, you will soon run out. Emptiness increases the amount of redundant things. You should learn to listen. Don't interrupt others when they talk. It's a good idea to spend time meditating on the things you've heard. When you learn to listen maturely, your productivity increases because you open up your mind to new, innovative ideas. You understand instructions better, and the quality of your output is high. 13. Remain humble. Pride comes before a fall. Adhere to humility and avoid promoting yourself. In life, there will always be someone ahead of you. Focus on building others and respect each person's unique skill set. Become a mentor also. 14. Always seek clarity. You get confident when things are clear. When you don't know what your responsibilities are, ask. Do not take on responsibilities that do not belong to you. If you want to see what you have accomplished, schedule time to re-examine your performance. You have to be honest with yourself to know where you stand. If there is need for improvement, make an honest effort to perform better or to relate with others better. 15. When the exhaustion begins to set in, take a break. Anyone who admits that he or she needs a break is not weak. It only means that the individual is aware of his or her limits and is careful not to push them over. Resting is a sign of wisdom and self-respect, as you respect your body enough not to overwhelm it. You don't need to perform at your peak every day. Stop whenever you feel overwhelmed. Any people try to reach goals that are too high because they want to achieve so much in so little time. Others want to impress others and be recognized as the hardest working personnel. All the accolades are meaningless if you can't work the next day. You can achieve more if you exert enough effort every day rather than working too much in 2 days and then having to rest because you fell ill. Pushing yourself lowers your productivity because it affects the quality of your output. When you overwork, you jeopardize the security of your job and you become even more stressed, wondering whether you will get to keep your job or not. You do not want to be in that situation. Your time of rest is equally important as professional mileage. Don't handle any work during the weekend and take your well-deserved break. Related tasks. When you are given vacation days, take them with gratitude and reward yourself for how hard you have worked over the last few months. 16. Do not dwell on past successes. The victories of the past can undermine the likelihood of succeeding in the future. Your past success shouldn't define you. It should be a motivator to keep walking the path of success. We are only good as our next result. Looking ahead. Focus on building on your current success record. 17. Accept change. Charles Darwin said, survival is for the fittest. Those that are able to adapt to change are the fittest, the kind that have the strength to fight. Expect to see more change in the future than you have seen in the past. Sure that you are part of the movement that supports the change by being excited about it. Chapter 11. Learn how to lead others and understand the psychology of success. Leader is a person who works with other people to achieve their goals. The better the outcome, the better a leader is. Leader that encourages growth in one area is not a good leader. The 12 competencies that matter. Understanding and evaluating the staff is important. Tact and diplomacy are used to exercise fairness. Interpersonal skills can relate well with other people. You have to be able to articulate your words through written or spoken communication. You need presentation skills to communicate your ideas. Negotiating skills can facilitate agreements. People can change their thinking, decisions, actions, and opinions with persuasion skills. Teamwork, employee coaching and development. 10. Conflict resolution skills can be used to resolve issues. 11. Customer service skills help build long-term relationships with customers. 12. Empathy. There are 11 ways to lead your team. Every leader wants to be in charge of an elite team, but getting to this level takes persistence and professional and personal development. Great leaders don't just lead a great team, they also pick the best in the team. It is their responsibility to build up everyone in their care for success by creating an environment that encourages them to succeed. There is a way to lead a successful team. You must believe in your team. There is a law called the law of expectation. People are suggested to behave according to what is expected of them. If you expect your team's performance to be dismal, they will perform dismally. And if you show them that they can do better, they will strive to be better. Leader who believes in the ability and potential of his or her team is the one who can move them from being a low or moderate performing team into an elite team. It is necessary to create a leadership environment. Some organizations continue to prosper after the owners die or retire. It is clear who takes charge after the one at the top leaves, as these organizations often have a definite succession system. Succession plan only works well when the organization is able to instill leadership skills in each of its employees so that there are no gaps and delays once someone takes over a position. It is important to cultivate a culture of leadership in the entire organization. The organization should have leaders at all levels. Each person should be a leader to himself or herself through personal management, where he or she will be accountable to himself or herself. When an individual is given an opportunity to lead others, he or she will not start wondering what to do because leadership skills are already imprinted in his or her mind. The reality on the ground is different because most companies have been people in authority, not leaders. Person in authority is supreme over everyone else, and their role is to give orders as others rush to carry them out. Everyone does what the authority says in order to protect their jobs and source of income. If they had a chance to take a job that made them feel valued and at peace, sometimes with a lower salary, they wouldn't have a second thought. The people at the bottom tiers have better leadership abilities than those at the top. You can observe how well they carry out their roles without the need for supervision. They are a source of inspiration to others. Without a proper leadership and succession plan, all these talents and skills will be wasted. Companies should conduct occasional reviews to see where their employees excel best so that they can provide them with the right opportunities and resources to grow their abilities and talent. 3. You can lead your people by example. Leader sits at the top of the pyramid and the rest of the people look at him. It's ridiculous to expect your employees to work hard while they're not. You see, your organization is more like a family where you are the parent and your employees are the employees. Children pick their parents' behavioral cues more than they listen to their words. You should portray the behavior you expect your employees to take up. Don't put your team down with your words when you speak to them. To create a positive working environment, build them up and lift their spirits. Make sure your words are consistent with the positive example you set for them. Become a servant to your team. Good leader needs to be a servant to his team, asking nothing of them than the leader himself can do. Alexander the Great led his team in the invasion of the Afghan kingdoms. Alexander would have stayed back home and issued orders to his army. He was the embodiment of servant leadership. He led his team from the front and didn't ask for any more comforts that his men couldn't have as they trekked the Hindu Kush mountains. You need to be humble enough to work with those at the lowest level of the pyramid. This doesn't mean that you always work in the trenches, but that periodically doing it will go a long way with them. As you are working on the ground with them, they will see that you do not look down on them and that you are concerned for their welfare and the roles they play towards the achievement of your company's vision. 5. Ensure your team feels safe. Managing a team is very different from leading a team. You can't manage a team into war. It's hard to believe that anyone would feel comfortable in a war situation. Your team would not be productive if they felt that their leader was against them. Do not expect much in terms of performance if this is the situation. They can't fully concentrate on productivity and at the same time watch their backs. Make your people feel safe by creating an environment of loyalty and trust. The employees will get a sense of comfort when they trust the leadership and their colleagues. Take out all organizational politics and create policies to make sure it doesn't come back. You will be fighting your own success if you allow chaos and hostility against employees. When a storm strikes in your business, remain calm and address your people calmly. Work with them to remove the obstacles. When the team feels valued and safe, they will do all they can to restore calm. You may be surprised at how many loyal employees are willing to risk their lives for the benefit of the organization. It is possible to cultivate such loyalty in your institution. 6. Go the extra mile for your team. Make sure that you embody the sacrifice of your people. When it is your turn to prove your loyalty, make sure you don't do things to save yourself and leave them in the wind. In the military, officers only eat after their teams have eaten. This gesture is an example of what leadership is about. When you make sacrifice for your team, then they do the same for you. Ensure that your team has the resources they need to do their jobs. If you follow up with a review of how well they are using whatever they asked for, you can let them have what they need. 7. Avoid micromanagement. The employees can take on any role within their job description without needing any help from you. Resist the temptation to check on what they are doing to ensure that they are on the right path. You wouldn't want to work with someone hovering over you to see what you're doing and trying to give you advice. If you can't tolerate that for yourself, don't force it on your employees. There are intelligent, wise, skilled and mature people working for you. Don't forget to recognize and celebrate good performance if you sit back and see what they come up with. There is room for mistakes. Ensure that everyone in your team knows that they have to fail in order to make effort. The best leaders allow their teams to waddle through the challenges and learn from their experiences. Mistakes will be made. The best parents in this situation allow their children to experience the world for themselves without being overly protective and domineering. Children who are tougher are able to take on more challenges than those who depend on their parents for everything. Employees begin to develop a deep sense of respect for you and the policies you have set once they have the chance to have their way. Failing will make an employee realize the importance of having particular rules and laws. They realize that the rules you have set up are for the good of the organization and are not meant to hurt them. Compliance, engagement, and the unleashing of potential are brought by this realization. Odell responsibility and accountability. The kind of leader your employees can trust is one that follows through on everything you say. Leader with a reputation of standing true to their word will demonstrate to their juniors that they can trust them and count on them. It shows them that they can meet the expectations you have for them. 10. Let the person know that everything might be difficult in the beginning. The difference between those who achieve and those who don't is that they face a challenge head on. Everyone is afraid of facing a new problem or a new challenge. Encourage your team to keep going so that they can stretch out to accommodate change. The stronger they get, they stretch. Great leader knows that with pushing to the limits comes more learning and growth. They will start to realize that there are no limits to how far they can go with more stretching. The psychology of success. Angela says success is liking yourself, what you do and how you do it. The road to failure and the road to success are almost identical, according to a philosopher. Elville found it better to fail than to succeed in imitation. The psychology behind failure is what makes the legends talk about success as much as they talk about failure. Failure is strength and one of the most powerful ones. It is not the opposite of success, but it is a push factor towards achieving it. You learn the ropes of success by making mistakes and failing. Baby doesn't learn how to walk without falling over many times. Failure and success are counterintuitive because success is the ability to turn your weaknesses into strengths. You must fail before you can reach your goal, whether the goal is to complete one task or run an entire organization successfully. The key traits of success can be cultivated. They include having a growth mindset and psychological flexibility. Growth mindset. The extent of success you achieve depends on how you view and deal with failure in your life. The belief that through effort and hard work, you can continue to progress and learn, even when handling difficulties and change, is indicative of a growth mindset. You will eventually master content if you keep trying and if you grab the opportunities that come your way. Failure does not last long. You give up if you think failure is the lack of ability because you think your ability has limits. The belief that you can stretch your ability through learning helps you to view failure as an opportunity for learning. Flexible mind. To embrace the success mentality fully, your mind must be flexible and able to adapt to the changing world in order to meet the changing needs that come up. With a flexible mind, you can think outside the box and come up with creative ideas when faced with an obstacle. You can change course when you realize that the line you have been pursuing isn't working. Great. There's a mind that will stretch. There is a combination of perseverance and passion towards a course. You relentlessly pursue your goals without allowing setbacks to deter your progress. It's not just being smart or having talent. It's the constant learning and putting effort into what you do. People who are alone do not achieve success. When you aren't able to work as hard as you should, you need help, support, and connection from other people. People who understand success need to accept help from others instead of doing everything on their own. They are aware of their limitations and are willing to seek assistance from people that excel in those areas. Successful people know how to achieve success, but they also embrace failure because it propels them into experiencing success. They keep thriving, growing, learning, and succeeding because of it. Chapter 12 shows how to transform your life by embracing a positive and unbeatable mindset. You are the product of your thoughts. The good book says that he is a thinker. Peale said that when you change your thoughts, you change the world. There is something between your thoughts and what is happening in the world around you. Your thoughts determine how you perceive life to be. If you are optimistic, happy, and positive, your emotions too will be positive, and no matter what comes your way, nothing will stop the zing in your heart or the spring in your step. when an electric fault caused a huge fire that destroyed their house and everything they had worked for their entire careers, a couple remained happy and joyful. Was surprised to see that a couple was comforting them a day after the event, as people came to help them cry. The visitors would be comforting them, but the couple didn't seem to care in the world. They chose to see the fire as a chance to rebuild. It is clear that if you want to transform your life to experience the positive things of life, you need to allow for a change in the way you think. The state of your mind is not permanent, and you have the ability to change it whenever you want. One day you love a certain yogurt flavor and the next you can't stand it. It is possible to transform all negative thoughts into positive experiences. There are tips to make your thinking more positive and indomitable. 1. Positive affirmations made. We don't always make positive statements, like the witches do with their hexes. We profess defeat and negative vibes. The truth is that human nature is more likely to be negative than positive. It will require genuine effort on your part to turn this around. Negative affirmations include the negative words you speak about yourself and your situation, as well as the thoughts you have about how you are not going to succeed in your undertakings. Negative thought like this affects the functioning of your brain so that you feel like you can do something even though you already know you won't succeed. Positive affirmations sound like mantras. There is a spiritual force accompanying them. If you want to see or do something in your life, you have to speak loudly and clearly about what you want to see or do. Having thoughts that begin with I ought to, I wish to, and I should are not positive. Negative statements like that start in manners and are quite effective. Positive affirmations need to be as strong as they can be. You can start with words like I can or I will. Your brain will adjust and instruct your organs as you do that. Things you perceive to be difficult will start to appear easy to do, and you will be on your way to success. 2. Count your blessings. Too many other things have gone well in your life, making it easy to feel bad when one or two things go wrong. Most people take their success and blessings for granted and instead focus on what they don't have. To transform your life, you have to maintain a positive attitude. Whatever comes your way will not shake you. Imagine if the situation was worse than it is. Think about the people who might be in situations that are thicker than yours, without any hope of getting better. You might be worried that one employee will steal from you, forgetting that you have many other trustworthy employees. Do not let fear make you treat the good ones differently than the bad ones. If you injured your ankle while exercising, be happy that you did not suffer more serious injuries like a broken bone. Always remember that you are fortunate to be where you are because it could be worse. An attitude of gratitude brings out the best in people. It gives you more access to the point that you begin to share. It causes you to shift from denial to acceptance, from confusion to clarity, and from chaos to calm. 3. You should appreciate what you have in your hands. It is important to appreciate and enjoy what you have. It doesn't mean that you stop trying to better yourself or get better things out of life if you become content with what you have. It doesn't mean that your joy should be tied to what you already have, rather than what you hope to gain. You should stop postponing your happiness to a particular time when you will have made certain achievements. Be happy now, and let your achievements add to the joy that you feel when they are actualized. If you don't make it to the high goals and benchmarks you have set for yourself, don't let the disappointment stop you from being happy. 4. Be strong, even in tough situations. It is human to feel afraid and demoralized when there are adverse situations. You may begin to bend under their weight if they get you feeling so low. If you consciously lift your head and your spirits, fighting the negative weight with positive affirmations of victory, you will power up your body with energy to enable you take up the challenge and overcome. This is the best way to overcome depression because medication only makes you oblivious of the pain without really working on the course of it. 5. Let your mind be like a child. If you were ever around a child, you would have been taken aback by their innocence and simplicity. Child will be happy because of the smallest things, And if he or she is angry, he can easily release his anger and be happy again. Enjoy the moments of happiness and play. Two, by getting in the habit of releasing your pain. Savoring means that you should stretch the happy moments so that they last as long as possible. You will be smiling, laughing, and enjoying every moment of your life when you do this. Six, you should surround yourself with positive people. Positive-minded people should make up your immediate social circle. The immediate circle are the people you get to choose, and your friends, to be specific. Even if you tried, you couldn't influence the rest of the crowd. Stick to the positive ones when choosing your company. Your circle behaves like an echo chamber that bounces between good and bad. Negative vibes will echo back to you if you have a negative social circle. Positive social circle will help you overcome negative circumstances, build your character, and build your agility for life. Positive people will support your dreams and help you along the way. Negative people will tell you how difficult things are. Talk about the difficulties that lie in the future and force you into a state of complacency. If you want your values to be imprinted on you, get people who reflect them. Look for them in online groups, in social networking events, at the workplace, and in any other forum they might be at. You will begin to attract more positive people as you interact with them. Changing your social circle doesn't mean you abandon the friends you have just because they're having a hard time and you want to interact with people that are doing better. You need to support them through the situation as you evaluate the influence that the company has on your life. Before you face out, cut the cord slowly if it is draining or not healthy. 7. Ensure that the information and media you consume is positive. It is unrealistic to ignore the influence the media and digital resources have on our lives. Your perspective about yourself, life, and everything in between is changed by the information you get via any of these forums. Positive media focuses on the positive things of life and teaches you how to improve the standards of your living, while negative media introduces the negative and destructive things. The information that the media gives us is very similar to learning a new language. The best way to learn is through the immersion method, where you surround yourself with people who speak it, and with time, it starts to stick, and you can finally speak it. If you immerse yourself every day in things that will give room for personal growth, the language of your mind will begin to change. This language is called self-talk, and once it has been transformed, everything else follows suit, including how you act and speak around other people. To become a positive person, immerse yourself in positivity, and it will soon be your language. 8. Take up a healthy lifestyle. Good things do not come from bad things. Good tree bears good fruit, while a bad tree bears bad fruit, according to the Bible. You can't expect good things from a faint, fragile body that you poison with an unhealthy lifestyle, because the mind will be poisoned. A healthy body is required for a healthy mind. In the midst of all the challenges that come up in life, do not make bad health another struggle that your brain has to overcome. Chronic fatigue is expected when you overwork your body all the time. Tired mind won't produce any good ideas or be ready to take action. Brain that doesn't get the right nutrition doesn't work as it should. The brain controls a lot of functions in the body, and when it isn't working properly, those functions slow down or fail completely. Take up activities and habits that will strengthen your body's health by exercising, taking up a healthy diet, and other practices that boost your health. Don't engage in anything that takes away your strength. Conclusion. Even though starting a business is a big deal, seeing it through all kinds of business seasons is even harder. When you support your employees in various ways, they will support you and help to actualize your dream. If you want to invest in your employees, you should help them become better at what they do, whether it benefits your company or not. The book begins by explaining to you what organizational learning is. then goes on to discuss all the things you and your employees need to learn to improve the running of your establishment. Technical knowledge and its advancement is important, but so is the combination of skills in an organization to reach the organizational goal. The author has covered many aspects of running an organization that you and your people need to learn and retain, such as the building of meaningful relationships, good decision making, cutting out negative behavior, building teams, and leading others successfully, among many others. The next step is to teach your staff all that you have learned and to create a learning culture so that this knowledge is embodied within your organization and taught to all others that will become a part of your company.